This time they're going to be in a house, living together in this house. This is a beautiful mansion that they're going to be living in. So it's exciting to see how they're going to be getting along with each other in the house, and all the different things that are going to be going on when it comes to that. Show some of the couples arriving with Jasmine and Gino. They were trying to make it look like they weren't going to be in the same room. I don't know. Colby and Emily. Emily's legs are swollen. She's pregnant right now. So Jasmine's giving her a little leg massage. Liz arrives alone. And then Ed, Big Ed, arrives after that. Patrick and Thais were the first to arrive. But it seems like, with Ed, he was trying to be nice and cool with her, trying to be loving. He gave her a hug, and he kind of gave her a long hug. And okay, I don't think she was up for that, but he's trying to be extra nice. And I'm wondering if he's changing his mind or if he just wants to keep the door open with her. What is his thoughts, or what is he feeling on that? But I think it's bad for her. But at the tell-all, they talk about dating when they get into the tell-all, and Ed, says, I'm not dating anybody. She's like, well, I saw you on the dating app, like within 1 month after you ended our relationship, you were back on the dating apps. And then with Angela and Michael, they didn't even show up to the house, so everybody's wondering, are they going to be even at the tell-all? So Michael walks in on set first, and they're like, what happened to you? And he kind of kept it quiet and kind of said it was private. Angela finally arrives. They say she's always late. And she's saying, things really aren't great between them. Again, Ed says he wasn't dating, but he was on the dating app a month after that. He said he was trying to work on himself and all of this in his life, but how do you jump right back in to dating, especially when you're the one that ended the relationship? To me, it feels like you may have just been trying to get someone else, because if you jump right back in, you're the one that ended it. It seems like you kind of played that person a little bit. I mean, that's just my first thought. I've been one to also rebound and possibly rebound quickly. And probably the last scenario, it was something that I was trying to prove to myself, and I wanted to date in a different way. I felt like I was going to the mainstream apps, and I felt like, I need to focus on the Christian apps and focus on Christian relationships. Even though the last relationship I was in, this person was to be a Christian, but they didn't really have the Christian lifestyle completely. They had certain expectations that were not of my own and were not, to me, biblical. So I was like, I really have to prove that to myself, that there's people out there that believe what I believe. There's somebody out there that's possibly on the same page as me. And I did kind of jump on the apps pretty fast. Didn't find anyone that fast though, especially for what I was looking for, because it's kind of hard to find some good stuff out there. I'm sure you guys know that are on dating apps or date online or just date generally, that it's hard to find somebody. I didn't jump into anything new right away, but I did try to see what was out there pretty quickly, because I was kind of let down by the scenario and what happened. But it all depends on what the scenario was, and if because I was the one that was broken up with, I was trying to see what else is really out there, and is there anyone really out there for me on the same page as me, with the same belief system as me, the same faith, or very similar. I had something I was trying to prove, and maybe I'll talk about that more in our single Christian girl segment, which is unrelated, but maybe I will, because sometimes I do drop my thoughts about my own relationship issues and things when it comes to me doing these reviews. I think it adds a little something different to our talks and our episodes, but also have a totally separate thing that's still on the podcast where I'll just delve right into that, which I may do at some point. And I'd like to have some people to come on with me with some new ideas I have. But let's get back to 90 Day. Um, they talk about again, he basically canceled their wedding right from under her, over this taco pasta, which was a big deal during the season. Over some taco pasta. It was an argument, and he just felt like she disrespects him so much that he just felt like this was the last straw. He canceled the wedding, he ended everything, and then he hops back on the dating apps in a month. That's it for you. And I really wouldn't want to give him another chance. Her mom, Patty, comes out. She says she wants to kill him. She's heated. Like, she does not mince words. She is, yelling at him, calling him out on so many levels. The moms on here have really, this season, they don't play. And for me, though, I feel like her mom is justified by some of her reaction. She said that he promised her that he would look out for her. He would treat her daughter well. A lot of guys make those promises to moms, and mom's saying, I expected you to keep up your bargain of what you said. I'm not just gonna accept this type of behavior. I'm gonna call you out on it. So kudos to mom there. Angela then says, because Liz was looking emotional during their talk, and Angela's like, do you still love it? She said, I think you still love him. Part of you does. And she said maybe part of her does. But look, she moved on. A new guy walks out. It's Jason. And I've been seeing him in the different groups and pictures of them together. And I figured that it was true, but it was, taking a long time for us to confirm this through the actual show. But, she found somebody. They look like a great match, a great couple. They have some similar features, and he's definitely not Big Ed. When he comes out, he stands up for Bay. He stands up for his Liz, and says, he doesn't really have anything to say to him, but he says from now on, I'm in her life. He can't talk to her any type of way. He can't disrespect her, and he has to go through him. So I was like, yes, she found her a stand-up man, and I'm hoping that this works well. Ed was claiming that she has a big anger issue problem, and Jason says at this time he hasn't seen that. They had a couple arguments, but it's not, the way that Ed is describing. We'll see. Sometimes new love and young love looks kind of good and perfect in the beginning, but also I think it's the person you're dealing with, because if you're dealing with a cool person, you're not going to argue. If you're dealing with a messy person, yeah, you guys are going to be arguing all the time. It is what it is. And again, it depends on who you're dealing with, because maybe she had a lot of reasons to argue with you, Ed. Michael wants to put his 2 cents in, because that's how the tell-all goes. Everybody puts their 2 cents in on each other's relationships. And he says, telling Big Ed just to move on. She's moved on, so you just move on. Angel starts cussing at Michael, like, telling him to shut up or whatever. And that's kind of giving me an indication of where they're at, while he's telling him to move on. Maybe in a way she feels like he's telling her that because maybe they're done. I'm not sure. I've been hearing rumors of this and that. For those that are in the different 90-day groups that are really following this show, you've seen different rumors of what could be going on in the future. And I kind of don't like to know the tea in advance, but sometimes, I don't really care, but sometimes I'm like, I really don't want you guys to tell me this information. I'd like to see it on the show, but finally, Liz's mom's final words are saying she has some final words, and she'd like to see him in the dark place of hell. And that's what she said. She says that, and she says she doesn't like him or hate him, but she pities him. And that is the final word when it comes to Big Ed and Liz's relationship. Congratulations to Liz for moving on. Then we go to Gino and Jasmine, and I'm going to be going flip-flopping back and forth the couples because, again, I am doing all 5 of these in one segment and just mashing it all together. So bear with me, guys. I hope you're enjoying so far. Okay, we go to Gino and Jasmine. Gino's cousin and his wife come out, and they're saying, Jasmine is actually good at communicating, and Gino disagrees. He says there's too many arguments. She starts too many issues, and they're talking about, why he's not sleeping with his own wife. Patrick's like, why don't you, do your wife? He doesn't use that word, but that's what he says. He actually uses the word bang. But Jasmine also says she never saw him naked. She never saw her own husband naked. They never showered together. One time they were in the tub. He was still wearing his underwear. I don't know what it is about him keeping his clothes and keeping his hat on for sure, because he has a thing with keeping his hat on, for those of you that don't know. And his head doesn't look that bad with the hat off. I don't know why he must keep the hat on. And so he also keeps his underwear on. Like, what type of insecurities, and why is he so physically insecure about himself? Also, the whole issue about him having a porn addiction came up, which really surprised me. And she's saying that's why he won't really sleep with her, because he craves the porn lifestyle and the porn scenarios that maybe she's not able to give him, because it's fantasy and it's not realistic and not reality. She's not able to give him those things. So she says she's worried when she does leave the house. She comes back, what she'll find because of his porn addiction. She's found different things going on when she comes back home. One of which is the search in his phone, I guess, of him searching and looking for different type of porn to watch. And she confronts him about watching one of his ex so-called sugar babies, watching one of her videos. And to her, it feels personal that he's watching a video of someone that he used to spend time with. When it comes to sugar babies, for you that don't know, it's kind of a site where you can meet, for men to meet younger women and kind of pay them, give them little favors, give them certain things, and then they get a sexual relationship with them in return. It may not always be sexual, but it's whatever they agree upon. It could just be some type of romantic relationship, some type of friendship, some type of where we just go out, or it could be a sexual relationship. So he was involved in those type of things when they were together, and he's now looking back at those same videos from this young lady. So she felt insecure about that and not happy with that. But I just wouldn't be happy with my partner looking at porn, and I think I've talked about it when the episodes actually aired, about how you can just have some certain expectations when you are watching someone that frequents porn all the time. They have certain expectations about sex and relationships that are mythical, that are unrealistic, and you can't really keep up with what's going on in the porn world and what's in their head. I was seeing someone, we weren't sexual at that time. We weren't having sex, I'll say that. We weren't having sex at that time. We were talking about marriage possibly, and they were talking about a porn scenario that they've had experiences with that. And I was like, it's intimidating for me to try to be with somebody that is really looking at porn, because they have certain expectations, and I'm not going to be able to fulfill those expectations. And then if I'm in a relationship, generally I want to be enough. I don't want to have to compete with somebody that's not even real, that's in between our relationship, that you may be fantasizing about when I'm not around, such as Gino and Jasmine, or you may be fantasizing about while we're together, if we're married and we're in that scenario. That's just something that I don't want to have a competition with. So even if the person has stopped the porn, it's still a slippery slope, and it's still kind of scary for that partner, because they're going to always feel like on some level, am I being compared to this experience that you had, that you loved watching this all the time or whatever? Are you going to constantly compare me to that? And am I going to measure up? All of these questions are in your head. It's a mess. It can be quite messy indeed. But these are the scenarios that we have to go through. We're all human. We have past. At times we have to heal from that past. These people are supposed to be trying to get married and start a new life. So, and as a person of faith, it's all about forgiveness. It's all about working on ourselves, changing, becoming better people. So it can all happen, but it can still just be difficult, and it can be troubling, and there could be issues along the way. But don't give up hope. Keep the faith. If you're meant to be with somebody, God will let that be so, and He will work everything out. And you also have to do your part and step up if you want to be with that person as well. So that's my thoughts on the tell-all. We have more of the tell-all coming up, so stay tuned. All right, people, happily ever after the tell-all 2. Angela and Michael basically take over this episode with their issues. Angela's screaming, shrieking all over the house. It's a crazy house. It's a mad house. But one cute thing I noticed is Kobe and Emily are wearing matching, it looks like matching outfits or matching pajamas. Emily is very preggers at this point. I love the unity between those two. And Kobe is trying to kind of step in with his fellow brother from Africa, Michael, and trying to calm Angela down. She's acting a little bit softer around Mr. Kobe, because maybe she's just really into chocolate men from the African countries, but she still, is in her shriek mode, and she's not letting down. I'm praying for her, because I really don't want anything to pop in her throat, because she's just screaming like mad. It's crazy. And then we have Jasmine and Gino. We see that they're on the outs. They're together, but not together. We learn they haven't been sleeping in the same bed and all of these things. So the couples are kind of trying to root them on and say, hey, you guys, get back together. They try to get them to kiss in front of everyone. It's a little awkward at first. Then Jasmine just takes the reins. She at first acts like she doesn't want him to do it. Then Jasmine takes the reins and gives them a better kiss. And they're just rooting and happy for each other. Thais is rooting for them at this time. We have, and then Lauren, she's one of the people trying to help Angela and Michael smooth things over. She's like, why don't you go over there, just tell her you're happy you guys are here together. Bring her a drink, give her a kiss. They're trying to make everyone kiss. I don't know if this is like, it feels so high school, like where's the bottle that we're spinning right now? But instead of the kissing, she just constantly cussed him out through the house. Typical Angela, the past cheating and stuff is the issue. And last we saw during the actual episodes that were running, well, she was getting a private investigator to check and see if he was really a scammer and scamming the women from the U.S. that are older and Caucasian, and he's a part of this group, and it looks fishy. So we're gonna see, once that private investigator finishes, I think he's gonna be on the tell-all. Ed pulls Angela over. For some reason, they have a strange bond. They're both a little bit over the top, I think, in some ways. So they have a strange bond. And he's like, Angela, you deserve somebody that's good for you. I'm like, well, why don't you guys get together? I'm sure that'll be pure nightmare. But I think Ed would deserve that nightmare. She would really put him in his place and strike fear into him. He would probably be running in the next moment. But he calls Michael a scammer, and then Michael walks up right as he's saying that, so he stops talking because he's a little bit of a chicken, I guess. I guess then he kind of takes her away so they could talk. But whatever the case, Ed kind of is calling Michael out, saying, Angela deserves better. She's been through a lot. I don't know, because we always see the calm, nice side of Michael, and I'm not sure which one is the bad guy here, but right now it looks like Angela's really the bad guy, and most people would say that. But if he's really scamming, I really want to know, what's behind that. He did cheat on her, and she mentioned that the worst part is that he said, he's gonna handle Angela. He's going to America and he's gonna handle Angela while he's with this other person. So it does sound like a usury possibility, a usury type of situation. We'll see. But she continues to berate him. He calls all women stupid, and she says, that's negative for all my granddaughters or whatnot. And he does kind of admit that he said women are stupid. And he's very wrong about that. I think he's stupid for even saying that we're stupid. But he's going to find out how stupid we are, hopefully. Angela is kind of proving him right. She's being very gullible as far as continuing to work with this person that she's saying is so messed up, but she's given 7 years of her life to. So in a way, that was kind of stupid. She kicks him out of their little tell-all room. She actually acts like she's going to kick him out of the mansion. He's at the top of the stairs yelling something. She's at the bottom yelling something. And then she just runs up like a locomotive up this giant staircase. And we're kind of in fear of what she's going to do next. I think they're saying, don't stand too close to the rails, Michael. We don't know what's going to happen once she gets to you. And when she gets in the room, everybody's running out of the room. It's like crazy. So they're telling him to run. Actually, as she's running toward him, they're telling him to run in fear. She strikes fear in all of the house. Liz and Jasmine, they kind of bond over Ed and Gino having some similarities, which I'm like, okay, I guess it could be possible when it comes to some of their sex life situations. She's saying this, she's had some similar experiences with Ed. I'm like, okay. And they're talking about showering together, how they don't want to shower. The men don't want to shower with them. And then Sophie comes out and says, Rob says the man's part doesn't work in the shower. And so that was weird. Are they scared of the water? Is it like Gremlins or something? For those from the 80s, don't get them wet after midnight. I don't know what the issue is. How do they, because of Liz and Ed's height difference, they want to know how their sex life goes on. And I don't want to be too raunchy, and sometimes to me it's a little dumb. But she says that she takes the top position, just so you know. So the girls are having a little girl chat powwow about these things. Jason is actually in the house, Liz's new man. So, they're just loving up on each other, kissing each other. Jason kind of stands up for her whenever Ed says something out of pocket. So I think they're like, okay, let's retire for the night. He's like, let's go to bed. And she's like, oh, we're not going to bed. And they're saying all this stuff in front of Ed. And Ed was like, well, she's just my sloppy seconds basically anyway. Whatever the case, he has been with her, but that doesn't mean that he's not jealous that somebody actually is treating her properly and she's having a good relationship and she's actually happy with somebody that's not him. And he can still feel some type of way. I think he does, but he's just trying to hide that stuff. Mike and Rob talk about Angela. Like, everybody's kind of pulling Michael aside. Says, look out for yourself. He said, I couldn't do it. All that yelling. I mean, him and Sophie have a volatile thing, but she's still kind of like a whiny, screaming baby versus Angela's like Godzilla or something. So I see what he's talking about. So it's fight night at the house. Angela and Michael, the main event. And Rob's like, everything going on is crazy. It's too much trauma. I mean, Angela is messing up the house by screaming all over the house. They're trying to have fun in this amazing house. They're playing pool, they're having drinks, they're chatting and doing what they do. And she's kind of screaming it out. Lauren actually starts to cry because she's like trying to give Michael good advice to kind of patch things up, and it's not working. And they get in an altercation because he's over there talking to all these other people, and she's like, you guys are thinking he's a good guy, and you guys, he's out here talking to everybody else but me. And so Lauren starts to cry because her plan didn't work, and I would just cry too, because what else can we do here? Because Angela is a run amok. Lauren and Ed have some type of beef with each other while they're in the makeup room. It's said that during the interview they ask, who do you least like? And she says him because of the way he treats women. So then when he's asked the same question in another type of interview, he calls her a bottom feeder. So they have beef with each other. Maybe it'll go away, maybe it won't. But I mean, to be honest, most people don't like Ed. He's probably, to me, the most hated person in the 90-day universe. I don't like the guy myself. That's my feelings and thoughts on it. Colby talks to Angela and Michael. Again, doesn't really work. She softens up a little bit. She's saying, look at all these handsome men around me. Like, why aren't you here trying to protect me? And like, oh, like these guys are going to try to get with you, Angela. Sorry, they're all taken as well. Manuel asked Gino about porn and stuff. This is at the tell-all, guys. They start talking about that porn because I remember that big porn issue where she's basically saying her man's addicted to porn. He doesn't want her. He wants the porn. That's like a really big issue, right? But I think this might be behind the scenes or something. But Manuel's asking, what's his favorite porn sites? And like, okay, porn becomes a topic. I'm like, okay, this is weird. But porn is a thing in people's lives, and I'm not saying it's a good thing or okay. I do think it should be exposed. I do think, I don't know, if you have that issue, it needs to be managed and worked out. God bless you. You don't need that type of news or thing in your life, especially if you have a spouse. I think it can be very distracting. Ashley actually jumps in and says she's more into porn than Manuel is, and she likes girl on girl, and they're talking about they like boobs, and Liz likes boobs, and they kind of bond over this, which I think is weird, but okay, this is what's happening in the middle of 90 Day. To me, it's like anything goes. It's like, this is the way the world is, guys. People are just saying whatever, and whatever's on their mind. I think that sometimes that exposure needs to happen so that we can possibly heal, but sometimes it's just messy, and it's just for attention, and it's just more than I need to know. Michael shares a little bit of his U.S. experience. At the tell-all, his first food was chicken nuggets. He had to put on 2 layers of clothes because it was so cold. Angela's pet peeves with him is that he has wet dreams. His pet peeves is cats are randomly walking around everywhere. She does admit he's a good granddad, even though he's not even a dad yet, but he's a good granddad because he's with her. And she's got grandkids. Again, no intimacy, no sex since he's come to America. They've been just constantly fighting, and the cheating thing came back up again. So yeah, this is what happened on Tell All Part 2, and I may not get to another Tell All episode that quickly. I'll probably do another wrap up Tell All episode, but that was crazy. And I'm praying for everyone in the 90-day universe, in the 90-day world. Everybody's caught up in porn. Even other shows on TLC, porn is an issue. Marriages are at risk. trust is broken. I'm happy to see a lot of other couples are doing good, but there are a number of couples that aren't doing so good. And, prayers up. These people are married, so we want this stuff to work. Now, when it comes to Liz and her new man, Jason, they're not married. I do hope it works out for her because it fully traumatized her life. It traumatizes me every time he comes on screen. So can't imagine what she had to go through. Sometimes I feel like us ladies, we are very forgiving when it comes to men. Again, we're not into looks, we're not into all these things. Of course, we want a good looking man, but we'll take men that have issues. And it's funny how we have a little issue in return and they blow it up as if it's the worst thing in the universe. Now, this is my experience, guys. Okay, I'm not bashing men and their whole situation, but just to see the dynamic between men and women, I feel like I have seen some men with women that seem to be a little less desirable, and maybe there's some examples in the house that I won't mention, but a lot of times us women, that's not the first thing we're looking at. We're not trying to, we want a relationship, we want a marriage, we want some stability, and kind of they want something that looks good on their arm, something that they are attracted to and they can sleep with. And there are some men that really are serious about marriage and relationships, but to me it's few and far between. I'm sorry, this is my experience and this is what I see out in the world. There are some amazing men, and I hope you guys can step up and show yourselves. We'd love to see you. We'd love to see your story. Comment in the comments, email me, prove me wrong if you would like to. If not, just give me your comments, your thoughts on that particular thing. But we're going to talk more about the tell-all in the future. Again, may not be in succession, and it may be like a final chat about the No Limits tell-all house. But we will be getting more into it. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. All the best. God bless. I'm also covering Forbidden, and I'm covering 90 Day the other way. So to add this to the barrel is kind of a lot. So that's why it may be covered at the end of this 5-part special. The rest of this tell-all, guys. All right. You'll see me. You'll find out. Thanks a lot for listening. All the best. God bless.